Welcome everyone to the Q&A session for our upcoming course, Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation, the 6-month journey to invoke your highest vibration to bring heaven to earth. I'm Lisa Bonis, and I'm really looking forward to this Q&A conversation for the Shift Network, where we'll explore the teachings of Raja Choudhury and address questions about his upcoming 6-month course, Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation, which begins Tuesday, July 28th. And a little later, I'll explain how you can participate in the course, even if you can't attend the live sessions. But first, I want to introduce our guest. Raja Choudhury is an award-winning documentary filmmaker, TED speaker, and spiritual teacher who aims to disrupt human consciousness and awaken each of us to our true evolutionary potential using his deep knowledge of Kundalini Shakti, Tantra, and Indian wisdom. In the past year, he's emerged as one of the Shift Network's most popular teachers, initiating and guiding over 2,700 students into the mysteries of Kundalini Shakti, Shiva Shakti Tantra, Karma, and the Third Eye. Raja has created numerous documentary films on wisdom and consciousness, including Spirituality in the Modern World with Ken Wilber, and he's currently making a film for PBS on how Indian wisdom first came to America. And in just a few minutes, we're going to open up for your questions. But first, I want to welcome Raja, who's going to begin our time together by leading us in an opening meditation. Welcome, Raja. It's so great to be with you again.
Shri Matri Namaha. That means that, most people think namaste or the greeting in Tantra is that I greet the divine mother that lives inside you and that is the creator from which you have come. Shri Matre Namaha means know me, I dissolve completely. My ego dissolves completely into wisdom. So thank you for welcoming me, Lisa. And I wanted to do a little vibration with you. And imagine a tone going up your spine like a gentle hum. And imagine that coiled up at the base of your spine is a beautiful, divine, sacred, wonderful energy, the mother, Kula Kundalini. Kundalini. This is not some force of nature, some power to overwhelm you. This is love, pure love, coiled up, sitting there waiting. Jagoma, Jagoma Kula Kundalini, Jagoma, Jagoma Kula Kundalini, Jagoma. तुम्हें नित्यानंद स्वरूपिणी, तुम्हें ब्रह्मानंद स्वरूपिणी, प्रसुप्त भुजगकार अधारो पद्मवासिनी, जागोमा. Wake up, Mother Kundalini, wake up. Wake up, you who are going to hold my hand and take me to eternity. You who are going to hold my hand and take me to bliss. Wake up, Mother, and take me to the other side. Kailahri. Now the grace of the Mother pours into you. Hasakalahri. Sakalahri. Kailahri, Hasakalahri, Sakalahri, Kailahri, Hasakalahri, Sakalahri, Shri. Shri, Shri, Thank you.
Thank you, Raja. Anybody who's taken any of your classes recognizes a lot of that. Thank you for sharing that with us today. So we have the rest of our time together to dive into our viewers' questions for Raja as we prepare for his upcoming course, Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation, which begins Tuesday, July 28th. And if you want to check out the website and learn more about the 6-month course, you can visit awakeningkundaliniadvanced.com to see the full description. So let's go ahead and get into some questions. If you have a question for Raja, go ahead and type it in. I'll be happy to pass it along. And in the meantime, we've already got some questions that have been submitted. And let's start out with the most frequently asked question. How do you awaken Kundalini, and is it safe?
Well, see, because of the history of Kundalini coming to the West, it has come through 2 or 3 vehicles over the last 30, 40 years. One was Tantra, where it came through sexual Tantra and the awakening of the sacred feminine. And the other was it came through Kundalini Yoga, which was a much more masculine type of warrior Kundalini Yoga. But Kundalini was not a yoga. Kundalini is a goddess. Kundalini is a sacred, divine, feminine goddess. She has many names. She is called Kula Kundalini, Kuleshwari, Kupjika. She is Kameshwari. She is the erotic nature of your being that transmutes into awakening. So when you look through the origins of Kundalini teachings in India, it's been known for thousands of years across the world. You see the Caduceuses in Mesopotamia and Sumeria. You see the symbols of the serpent in Egypt. But in India, it's where it sort of became a seriously advanced study of it over the last couple of thousand years. And there was a movement. I mean, this was known all the way back into at least 1000 BC in the Upanishads it's talked about. But this knowledge was encoded into scriptures. So you find the 5 brothers and the 5 elements and 5 things in your body, and in the Mahabharata, in the Ramayana, in different scriptures. But around the 3rd, 4th century, a new dialogue started in India called Tantra, which was the Agams. They were the dialogues between the body and consciousness, that the body was asking consciousness, what are you about? How do I dissolve into that vast non-dual consciousness that seems to be everywhere? Yet, how do I do it through this body, this being that I am? Can I wake up? And many schools emerged in Tantra, and 2 in particular emerged, which one was called Kaula. And Kaula is what we later know of as sexoyogic ritual. And Kaula said that converting the sexual energy into ritual, into awakening of the inner power inside you was one way. There was another school called Krama, which was the school of Kundalini going up the chakras. But the basic thesis that they understood was that when a child is born, an energy comes into the child to give it consciousness, starting from the Sahasrara, just above the body, and descends into the child, giving it consciousness in the 3rd eye, in the throat, the vocal cords, in the heart, and these are called the elements. So the child links to the elements of nature, elements of the cosmos, elements of the mother through these centers along the spinal cord. And when this child has these centers opening, what happens is that this energy that comes in called Shakti, the divine sacred feminine energy, at the end of about for the gestation period of the baby in the womb, sits at the bottom of the spine and is not needed anymore, has given the child its consciousness. But it sits there dormant, and in most people, It might spurt once in a while in ecstasy, in sexual orgasm, or in a beautiful sunset, or something like that. But when, for some reason, the ancient shamans and mystics and seekers figured out a way to open this and to re-release this energy into their beings. And it was always considered a sexual energy. So the energy, and not in sexual as in physical sex, but sexual energy as in a conversion of a lower energy of desire into an awakening at the base of your spine. So what was said was that the energy coils up and sits in what is called the earth element. And then it rises through 5 elements in your body: earth, water, fire, air, and then akasha at the throat. And these 5 elements are called the 5 chakras or the 5 padmas, are the human condition. If I can get past these 5, I come to the 6th element called the Agya chakra. And that is the gateway to my superconscious mind. So I have to get my body into a state of a temple to allow this beautiful sacred goddess to rise up my spine and wake up these 5 centers and then open my third eye. And then the grace of the divine dance of consciousness and energy, Shiva and Shakti, comes pouring into me. Now, if I understand it, this is an esoteric dance of my masculine and feminine being, of my heaven and earth. So I am uniting heaven and earth. I'm in my masculine and my feminine. And when they mix together, they meet at 3 main centers: in my yoni, Muladhara at the bottom, in my heart, and at my third eye, where all the energies meet. And then something amazing happens. And I become conscious of a vast universe that I'm a part of. And everything comes into alignment. So this is what Kundalini means. And there's really nothing to be scared about, because if you treat it as the sacred mother, then all that stuff that happens in yoga, like prana, Kundalini and stuff, that's just in between stages of awakening. And if you're grounded and you're loved and you're taken gently through this love, there's nothing to fear at all.
Okay, thank you for that. And you mentioned Kundalini Yoga, which leads into a question from Diana, who says, how do we know that we're ready for your teachings? I practice Kundalini Yoga, but your message somehow feels deeper. How do you recommend students start the Kundalini Shakti practice?
So when we talk about the sacred feminine, we talk about 3 aspects of what is called Shaktiism, 3 aspects of the sacred feminine in Devi worship or goddess worship in India, in Indian Tantra. And first aspect is what we call para. That means that we are in a divine womb of the mother. The entire universe is her womb. We are her creation. We are within her. All beings come into being, all planets come into being, all things come into being. Then there's an in-between world between that source mother and me, which is the mental world we call sukshma. And that sukshma means that my mind can expand into this vast consciousness, but I'm still in my body, but I can expand my mind. And then the third part, which is the body, which is where Kundalini sits, is called stula, which is the body becomes a temple or a vehicle for you to wake up to that divine consciousness. Now, if I want to experience, so my teacher, Guruji Amritananda, used to say that if you turn on a switch in the stula, in the body, something turns on in the sukshma that comes to work with you. Energies, shaktis, beings, intelligence, whatever you want to call it. And something turns on at the source to say, my God, somebody's reaching, let us help them. So you become a part of a wonderful, you can almost call it a conspiracy to help you wake up. And because you're dealing with divine Shakti, Yoga is one way. There are many ways. We use breathing, we use mantra, we use mandalas, yantras, geometries, we use sound, we use different types of mudras and hand gestures. We can do different things. So it is a very deep esoteric teaching that I want to share with you. And this cannot be covered by a yoga or a kriya or a one breath. It is a complete cosmology of how to awaken the divine mother in you. And then you will realize that when Kundalini awakens and the mother comes into being through you, all these goddesses you've heard about, from Kali and the Dash Mahavidyas, or the Sri Vidya of Lalita Tripura Sundari, or Durga, or Lakshmi, or Saraswati, or Mahalakshmi, Mahasaraswati, all these Chamundaya, all are part of the Kundalini energization of Shakti waking up in you. They're all one Shakti, but with many attributes and many names. So you're going to be surrounded by the bliss of the Divine Mother. And when you are, you will experience your own sacred nature in such a different way that it's not a yoga, it's not a breath control, it's not a kriya, it's everything. So it is very deep and it's very safe and very loving.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So then let's continue this path. We've got two people asking, what are the typical stages and experiences that we can see to measure our progress in reaching Kundalini? And how will I know when I'm awakened? How do I know when it's real?
See, the good and the bad part of Kundalini having come into the world as it has over the last 50, 60 years is that people have a language now for it. But they use also a negative language with it called Kundalini syndrome and Kundalini. That's not what it's about. We talk about three types of Kundalini. One is Para Kundalini, which is the Shakti of vibrating energy. So the first experience of Kundalini is going to be energetic. That means swirling through these subtle channels called nadis in your body. You have two main nadis in your body, Ida and Pingala. Ida on your sacred feminine left side and Pingala on your right side. And up the middle is where the real Kundalini will rise eventually, called the Sushumna. Now, this dance sometimes is seen as a serpent energy going up. That means that when prana starts to move in you, called prana kundalini, you get this vibrating energy that you can't stop. And it's ecstatic, it can be sexual, it can overwhelm you, it can cause, spasms in you, it can cause heat in you. But we learn to go step by step from the earth upwards. So we ground ourselves first in earth, then we learn to burn away our bad karma and all the traumas of our life. We learn to balance our sexual and creative energy and our stomach energy and learn to control. And then we rise up to higher levels. We don't go boom straight up to the third eye. We do it gently. Now, the second part of Kundalini is once you have awakened all these energy centers, that's the first experience of Kundalini, you will have ecstatic experiences. You will have different experiences. You will see visions. You will hear sounds. All this will happen. But then a more subtle vibration begins to occur. And that happens in the middle of your spinal cord, in the Shushumna. And this is called Chit Kundalini, or the awakening of consciousness Kundalini. Chit Kundalini is where we do the mantras, where the lotus petals open along the 6 chakras of your mind up to your third eye, and then 1,000 petals open above your head and pour into you the bliss. So Chit Kundalini is the third part. And for most of us, we will experience a lot of Prana Kundalini. We will experience Chit Kundalini in the subtlety of the opening of these lotuses of goddesses that change our lives. But in the final stage, we have what is called Para Kundalini, which is the reconnection back to source. Now, that in Tantra, that is called Pratyavijna, which means self-recognition, which means you realize that you are divine. So before then is a kind of duality. The body is separate from that consciousness. The prana is separate from my real being. The goddesses are in me and out of me. I'm not sure. But when you get to that final Turiya state of consciousness, then something profound happens. you go into a kind of non-dual dissolution state of ecstasy. And that's called Ananda. And we will explore that together as well.
All right, thank you. While you're talking, I'm getting a whole bunch of people asking. As I mentioned earlier, Raja has taught many classes with the Shift Network. And we've got a lot of your past students really interested, but they're wondering what's the difference between this specific course and classes that you've taught in the past? Should they go ahead and do this one if they've taken your other classes? Let's go ahead and explore that a bit.
So if you've done Awakening Your Kundalini or Opening Your Third Eye or the Karma course, then you've already tasted this energy with me. Even those who've done the Goddess course have tasted the power of the different mantras and the goddesses. But if I just imagine what it would be like to be deeply initiated in each of the stages that you went through, and go deep into it, into the architecture, into the sacred geometry, into the meaning, into the subtlety. So I want you to look at it this way, that if you have done Awakening Your Kundalini or Opening Your Third Eye or the Karma course, then you have kind of primed yourself to go deep into this rabbit's hole. So I want you to come with me, because I'm going to take you deep, deep down into the rabbit's hole. We're going to go way into your consciousness. We're going to explore how to awaken the petals of your body, how to awaken the sounds in your tones, how to utter chants correctly, how to make prana come so your energy burns away all your bad crap and you free yourself of all this rubbish in your life, how to get strength to deal with COVID or immunity or to deal with the rubbish out there in the world and the divisions we're facing right now. All this will come together for you. So think of it as a deep, deep training in your own inner stage by stage awakening. And if you think you've tasted some of that with me before, I've had hundreds of students do this advanced work with me, and we have gone so deep that all have come out with some transformation, and many continue to work with me today. I have over 600 students working with me in more advanced work after this kind of course. So there's enough legacy here to tell you that if you go deep with me, something wonderful will happen to you.
All right, perfect, thank you. And you mentioned karma, which is ironic because there's a question here. Can I use this material to clean up my past life karma?
Yes, and one of the reasons we go through the 5 elements of earth, water, fire, air, and is that the whole idea is that you start with a heavy self in a kind of solid, what is called tamasic self. That's a rock. The earth has to crack open for liquids to flow. And by the time you get to your heart, you will become as light as a feather. So how do I go from earth to being light as a feather? And this journey of prana and breathing and mantra, what it does is that the ancient teachings talk about the lower part of your body, the Brahma Granthi, the lower aspects of Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, being where we hold all our trauma, where we hold our bad karma, where we are lethargic, where we are impotent, where we feel fear, where we feel uncertain. All that's down there. So the first few trainings I'm going to do are how to get that area really activated. And then we're going to learn how to burn our bad karma. And not only through what we do, but how we do energy work, how we eat, how we breathe. Everything will direct how you liberate that energy so that you get to a point where you are now becoming lighter and lighter. So by the time you get to your heart center, you're as light as a feather slowly, slowly. And by the time you get to your throat, you become a skywalker and you start to drift into vast consciousness. So the whole idea is that I want you in the first month to solidly train yourself in the lower part of your body so that you start getting liberated from your trauma, from your bad karma, from your congestion, from your stomach, from your diseases, from your pain, from your suffering. All that will begin to be liberated by the second month. And then by the second month onwards, we're starting to move upwards. And we go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Okay. While we're on the topic, Megan is wondering, what are your thoughts on mantra chanting as it relates to karmic cause and effect?
See, mantras are the best way to think about a mantra. And I am a mantra yogi. Tantra is mantra. Tantra is mudra. Tantra is yantra. So when you do Tantra, you are practicing mantra yoga. What mantra means is that, let us say, for example, you have an intention. I want to heal myself, or I want to be strong and face the world out there, or I want to get a new career, or I want to attract better relations, or I want to clear my past life karma and traumas of my life. That intention, I can apply mindfulness and positive psychology and figure out a way to repeat things and give myself affirmations to help me. What mantras do is that it's like equivalent of encoding deep esoteric energy, meaning, and healing into a word or a sound that, when chanted in a particular way, releases that energy instantly. So if we learn to use mantras correctly, there are three types of mantras. The first type are what are called bij mantras. Bij mantras are seed sounds like Shri, Hri, Clean, Aim, Sound. These are all key sounds, and each has a powerful Shakti energy to it. So you're releasing Mahalakshmi, or you're releasing Mahasaraswati, or you're releasing, which are attributes of an energy inside you that you're releasing. Now, if I went deeper, and all mantras are a combination of a consonant sound, which is a Shiva, a vowel sound, Im, Shri, Im, and an ending which raises it to heaven. So, or Ang, or Ha, all these. So when you combine these sounds together to call these bead sounds, you're manifesting new realities with each utterance. It's like a magical incantation. You're invoking an energy. Now you can then go into complex mantras where you combine the mantras together and you summon an energy for a particular aspect of the Kundalini to work. So, for example, if I want to attract wealth and abundance to my life, I can chant the Mahalakshmi mantra. Om Shrim Rim Shrim Kamle Kamlalaye Prasida Prasida Shrim Rim Shrim Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. And if you listen carefully, you would feel that in your heart center. And that heart center, Anahata Chakra, is one of the sacred 12 petals. And we can learn the 12 sounds, and we can learn the 12 ways of working with that. And we can learn the 72,000 nadis of energy that come out of the heart chakra and reach into every cell of my being and heal me and attract abundance to me. I can send that 72,000 strands of nadis energy to everybody and heal them and give them well-being. So one seed sound, Shreem, becomes a akshar mala, a mala of a mantra of seed sounds that can then change the world. So you get magic. So mantra yoga is the key to pure Shakti worship. That's it.
All right. For those of you who are just joining us, we're here with Raja Choudhury learning about his upcoming course, Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation, which begins Tuesday, July 28th. And you can log on to awakeningkundaliniadvance.com for all the details and to register. And while we're on the topic of karma, let's just keep rolling with it. Here's a question that says, let's do it. I wonder how to discern between my own personal karma and the karma of ancestors, of culture, and of the collective humanity. Is there a way to distinguish this, for example, by reading the Akashic records, or is it all ours because all is one?
See, to a tantric, karma sucks. The whole objective of this work is to be karma free completely. Just cut out all your karma. Now, what does that mean? That the tantric says that in this life, can I be free of karma completely? Forget ancestral karma, forget past life karma, forget Akashic records. All of that is irrelevant. If I wake up to this moment here and now and bring in all the Shaktis into my being, can I become karma free now, right now? And at the one extreme is the celibate sadhu who says, I'm karma free. That means no attachment to anything. I'm completely free of karma. No past, no future, no nothing. But for us, ordinary folks who want to live in the world and have some fun, yet still awaken and live fully in the world, make a living, do some good. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a teacher, but I'm a tantric. What does that mean? That means that I want to create as little bad karma as possible, but then I don't want to get too attached to my good karma either, because even the good karma can hold me back from my true liberation. And what does liberation mean? Liberation means when I realize that I and that source, mother energy of Shiva, Shakti are one, there's nothing else to know. I am that. But Tantra says that you can celebrate life fully in the body. You don't have to see it as an illusion, as a karmic repository of crap in your life. You can liberate the body and enjoy the sensual pleasures of life. You can enjoy music and food and sexuality and art and culture and dance. All that is fine for a Kundalini yogi, as long as you have one eye firmly on the destination to liberate yourself to that vast consciousness. So, when we wake up as a tantric, we are letting go of karma. That means we really don't give a crap about past life. We really don't give. Yes, we know how to burn it. We call a goddess in to burn it. We call a divine energy to burn it. We breathe it away and we let go. And then new energy comes, new rising comes. And that's the key secret of Tantra, is to wake up right now to becoming karma free.
Okay, thank you. Here's a question from Gabby, who says, these teachings feel like they have a heavy influence from Hinduism, all the gods and goddesses. Can you clarify, does this course have a religious orientation?
Tantra is a product of the Indian mind. There's no doubt about it. But we have the similar Tantra in the Vajrayana Buddhist sects. We have Tantra like this in Jainism, in Buddhism, in Hinduism. So this particular aspect is from a tradition called Shaktiism. Shakti, which is a sacred feminine goddess tradition, which has been included and into the Indian idea of what is now known as Hinduism. So yes, if you're coming to this work, you're going to go deep into Shakti work. Correct.
Okay. Then along the same path, Heather's wondering, is this course Neo-Tantra?
No. Neo-Tantra was a distortion of what is called the Kaula Tantra tradition, which was brought over to America partially by Osho and by other teachers as well, which focuses much more on the sexo-yogic and sexual aspects of Kundalini. So we are going to be exploring the 3 or 4 aspects of the Divine Mother energy. One is external to you, coming into you as grace. The other is internal to you as powers you have, as superhuman powers you have already within you that you can wake up. And the third is as a dance between your body and consciousness, so that you go deeper and deeper into expanding your consciousness. And then a non-dualism will come. So yes, you will experience a transcendental state of meditation by the time we go deep into it. But you will be working on the body, and you'll be working on the different types of energies and goddesses and Shaktis in the body, and mantras and sounds to do with that.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Now, I've got a question from two different people, very similar. So let me go ahead and read them both, Shilpa and Carmen. Shilpa says, will I have an awakened Kundalini for sure in these 6 months if I follow your techniques? And what happens after Kundalini is awakened? And Carmen says, from a pragmatic point of view, what should I see or feel or experience differently in my daily life after finalizing the course, after successfully absorbing it? So they've done the work. What can they expect?
Well, Lisa, you've been with me for a while. You've watched the experiences of people going through this. What do you feel has been some of the remarkable things you have seen in transformations in people's lives?
Oh, wow. I didn't expect this question. I do know that I've seen a huge number of people whose lives have been changed for the better. They've gone on to actually teach this material. They've burned their crap. Yeah, I've definitely seen people whose lives have been changed.
So see, the way I look at it is that the whole pursuit we're doing here is the pursuit of happiness. Can I wake up bliss in you? Can I transform your life so you feel lighter? Forget what you think Kundalini awakening means for a second. Ask yourself that if I do this work, will my life get better? Will I be a better human being? Will I be kinder, more compassionate, more energy? Will I attract good people? Will I protect myself from the crap of the world? Will I be safe in myself and stay positive and remove depression and anxiety about diseases and suffering? Will I face life with a new attitude? Yes, I may see visions. I may experience amazing prana energy rising in me. I might experience bliss, but most importantly, did it change my life? And I can't promise you your Kundalini is going to wake up fully and you'll become a Mahapurush, Mahayogi. But what I can promise you is that you will see changes in your life very soon. And we'll work together, holding hands, all of us, and go on this journey together. And if we can get to a beautiful place together and find that bliss together, a lot of people, I have a very large number of people who come live to be with me because we transmit a collective energy that's full of bliss. And when you experience that bliss, you want it all the time and you want to stay at that bliss and not go down into the dark recesses of your mind, of your fears, of your anxiety. You want to stay at the heart and up. So when you work with me, I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then I'm going to vibrate with you so that you experience that. And then I hope that you will come out of this with those mini samadhis, mini transformation that will change your life. This is what I can promise you. No money back guarantee. If Kundalini does not wake up fully for you, you have to surrender to this. There's a goddess involved. You have to surrender to this energy. To become the goddess, you have to surrender to your inner goddess. And then magic is bound to happen.
All right, thanks. Looking at the clock here, we have time for a few more questions, but before we get into those, I'll go ahead and give a few details about the course itself. Some people are asking, and I'm best equipped to handle those. Once again, the name of the course is Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation, and this is going to be such a powerful 6-month journey with Raja. As he mentioned, I've worked with Raja for years now, and this is powerful stuff. And Raja is truly an expert. And this is where you'll safely activate the sacred healing energy at the base of your spine to access bliss consciousness and evolve into a more beautiful, radiant soul. And the 6-month course takes place on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, beginning next week, Tuesday, July 28th. And if you can't join us live, I know that's a big concern with some people, but that's fine. You won't miss any of the teachings because you'll receive audio and video recordings, transcripts, and all course handouts on your course homepage. And also, Roger just said there's no money-back guarantee, but we actually do offer a no-risk money-back guarantee for 2 weeks until August 11th in this case to make sure, you can give it a try for a couple weeks, make sure that it's a good fit. And as an added option, all participants are welcome to connect in a private Facebook community group so you can connect with one another. And Raja, he's very active on Facebook. Also, everyone who registers receives the Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation Bonus Collection. First, you'll receive a video teaching from Guruji Amritananda entitled The Garland of Letters, Creating a Sacred Geometry in Your Body. And then you'll get an ebook by Raja called Collapsing into the Void. And next, you'll receive a video dialogue with Raja entitled Karma Kundalini and the Essence of Ancestral Healing. And when you register by midnight Pacific on Tuesday, July 21st, you'll receive this extra gift, a video from Raja called Yoga, Aligning to the Source. And because this is an advanced course, in addition, the 7-week Awakening Your Kundalini introductory training is also included. So if you haven't taken that yet, not a problem. It's included. And along with that 7-week introductory training, you'll also receive the 5 bonuses that came with that course. So lots of good stuff here. Before we get back into questions, Raja, let's talk about what you're most looking forward to sharing in this specific upcoming course.
So, as you sign up, I really recommend that if you've already done it, you revisit the 7-part Awakening Your Kundalini course. And if you haven't done it before, it comes in your package. So go and just start doing it. Spend the next few weeks training yourself with that material. You will find it a very good basis on which to go deep with me, so that by the time we get into deep work over the first 2-3 classes, you will all be at the same level. So this primer, it's a kind of, Kundalini 101 course, and I recommend that you all do it. And there are 7 1-hour classes, there are Q&As and things, but it's 7 1-hour sessions with practices, and there's a beautiful meditation that I teach you for 30 minutes, how to do the breathing, how to do the mantras, so that you will have, and as you practice it more and more, and we go into it in deeper ways through the course, we will enjoy exploring it together, and we'll all come to the same level within a couple of months. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through a journey of energy first. We're going to energize ourselves. We're going to learn how to tap into energy in nature, in the sun, in food, in everything, and really strengthen our Shakti, bring energy, prana into us. And then we're going to learn how to move our prana around and heal ourselves, heal other people. And then we're going to wake up our lower chakras. We're going to work on the lower chakras. And then I'm going to teach you something very deep and esoteric and mystical, which is how to draw a garland of letters along your spinal cord. 108 letters that form the garland of sounds up and down your spine. And then we're going to go into what is called the Shri Yantra. We're going to explore the sacred geometry of your being, where we're going to look at you at the base and how we go towards the deepest aspiration of your spirituality at the top. And I'm going to explain to you about yantras and sacred geometries and things like that. Then we're going to explore the basis of Shri Vidya, which is the teachings of the grace of the mother coming into us from the outside energies coming into us and how they help us. And then I'll go into the Kali and the Dash Mahavidyas, where we look at the fierce goddess inside you that wants to wake up and become Kundalini outwards. And we'll work on that too. And then we'll work on how to manifest these energies in your life and how to do sacred chanting, sacred breathing, sacred all of that with that. And then I'll take you into a primer onto what's called the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, where we'll explore what happens when I get to the higher states of consciousness, open my third eye, and experience that bliss of Shiva and Shakti dancing. And I will teach you how to, and I'll give you many of the 112 meditations taught there that are quick ways to live this life in every day of your life, and how to become a living Shakti in the world. And then you can stick around with me and work with me in the future, like many have done before. So that's the journey that I want to take you on.
Okay, great, thank you. I love how these lead into the questions here. Fran is saying, this all sounds wonderful, but a little overwhelming. What does a daily Kundalini awakening practice look like?
At the very basic level, surrender to grace, and how to live in that surrender of just joyful grace of you as a living Shakti. Then you can add the dimensions you want. If you like the path of breath control and breathing, I teach you that. If you like the idea of Bij mantras and single sounds, I teach you that. I'll teach you how to do the Shat Chakra Japa, how to do the 7 chakras and wake them all up. I'll teach you how to do the malas. I'll teach you how to do the yantras. So I want you to think of it this way. I'm going to give you the most extensive toolkit you can imagine to explore Kundalini in a tantric way, in a Shakti, Sri Vidya, Tantra, Kriya, Laya way. So I do teach a basic technique that you can do every morning for half an hour. I do teach one, and it's part of that 7-part course that I'm talking about. But if you want to then go into elaborate things, I help you do that as well. So you can explore that, I want to wake up all the letters and heal myself, or I want to wake up my sexuality, or I want to attract abundance and wealth into me, or I want to bring grace into me, or I want to heal myself of diseases and suffering, or I want to become a courageous Durga and fight in the world, or I want to become Kali and cut off the heads of everything that blocks my path. All this will become tools for you that you will learn to use. And then the final set of tools, I'll teach you how to meditate on higher consciousness so that you can live in what is called the Turiya state, the void. And you can paint a better world and a better universe for yourself from that still place of the void. And then we'll learn how to do that as well. So it's a complete spectrum I'm going to take you through. And you can choose what to play with.
There are a lot of toys that come along with this, no doubt. Let's take a question here from Sue, who says, sometimes after I meditate, I feel as if there's too much energy in my head, and it makes me feel disoriented. Does this have anything to do with Kundalini energy, and how can I release it?
It's prana. It's prana moving through the nadi systems, and that's causing blockages. So all you got to do, I'll teach you a little secret, okay? And it's really fun. You just clench your butt with a double breath, hold the breath, and imagine that you're pulling all the energies back down to the Muladhara, to the butt. And clench your butt and hold it tight. And then sigh it out with a big sigh. That's it. All this stuff will pour back down and you'll ground yourself into earth. And if you want a sound to go with it, you can use the sound lam, lam, lam. And then when we go deep into the work, I'll teach you about Ganpati and how to bring the earth grounding to the earth. We'll work on that.
All right, very good. Diana's wondering, how is Kundalini Shakti energy experienced by empaths? I'm an empath that is very sensitive to subtle energies. I'm also a dowser. How does Kundalini Shakti energy support empaths?
It is like, I want you to imagine that if you've already got a superpower like empathy or clairvoyance or clairaudience, even slightly, what Kundalini awakening does is amplifies and accelerates that process exponentially, 10,000 fold. So suddenly you will begin to sense the senses completely. You'll be able to feel the vibration of other people even more intuitively, because you'll be sensing them through their system of nadis and chakras and the padmas and the points in their body. And you'll be able to communicate with other people's body from part to part. So from heart to heart, from linga to lingyon, linga to linga, from third eye to third eye, and not in a power surging hypnotic way, but in a empathetic and tuning way, so that you will not feel that, like right now I'm talking to you and my heart is opening to you. So if I'm communicating through my heart, if you feel it, and you will know this, that at the back of your spine, on the left and right side, you start feeling a tingling just at the heart center. Shri, Shri, Shri. And as the heart opens, you begin to feel my heart, feel my mind, feel my thoughts. And so the empathy factor quadruples, becomes 10 times, grows and grows and grows, until you start sensing everything as a kind of tuning fork, as a flute picking up the wind and playing in your spine. And your spinal cord becomes a flute to receive these vibrations. And you will feel that it's quite wonderful, actually, when you start playing with it. So you become a better empath, trust me.
Okay. Here's another topic entirely. If someone has scoliosis, would that inhibit the flow of energy up the spine through the centers? And if so, what can you do to let the energy flow more freely?
We've had a lot of people with spinal damage, with slip disc, with scoliosis, with spondylitis. I want you to understand that this energy is a subtle, invisible, non-biological energy. It is a subtle system that exists even if your body has blockages or physical issues. It doesn't matter whether you can sit in Vajrasan or Padmasan or on a chair, or you can't sit at all, or you are uncomfortable. This energy, this Shakti, will wake up, will begin to stir in you no matter what your physical condition. And that will bring about new kinds of healing for you. That will bring about new kinds of awareness for you. That will compensate on lack of awareness in one area with greater awareness and subtlety. I want you to think about it as an expansion of your mind and consciousness. You are going to become a highly tuned, vibrating being. That doesn't matter if you can stand on one leg or not, or your back hurts or not, or everything hurts. It doesn't matter, because you will begin to take control of your mind. And the mind is the key. The mind is the key to the karma. The mind is the key to the ego. The mind is the key to the surrender. The mind is the key to developing powers. Siddhis, we call them. So all this will come if you let it, if you surrender to it. That's the whole teaching.
Okay. So here's again another topic entirely. What's the difference between the garland of letters and the letters of the Kabbalah?
The letters of the Kabbalah are 22 Hebrew alphabet. I know them also. And so the name of God, the Elohim, are ways of chanting these sounds of Yahweh, 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 all these things. In Tantra, we talk about 36 levels of vibration, which are 36 consonants in the system. So there are 36 consonant sounds in Sanskrit that are used as 36 levels of vibration between earth and heaven. So imagine that the first 5 are earth, water, fire, air, akasha, the first 5 elements. And then we go deeper into subtle elements like our senses, our 5 senses, our 5 organs of sensing, our 5 intuitive senses, our 5 states of our mind, our 5 vibratory states, and we keep going subtler and subtler into 36 levels of vibration. So the way we do it in Tantra is that the 36 consonants of the Sanskrit alphabet and the 14 vowel sounds combined together create, and 2 breathing sounds, and aha, create all the sounds that make up the garland of letters. So you end up with a circuit going down of 50, going up of 50, and then 8 through the middle. So we get 108. So it is a much more elaborate internal cosmology than the Sephirot is, because in the Sephirot you're at the base and the body, you're in the body of Adam Kadmun. Here Shiva Shakti's body is above my head, the non-dual he, she, Shiva Shakti, which is the same as Adam Kadmun. Because Adam Kadmun is basically a neutral gender, is neither male nor female. It is the archetypal being before the Elohim. And so in the same thing with Shiva Shakti, it's above our head, and Shakti is in every part of us, and Shiva is the consciousness that comes into us. So we learn to work with that through the sounds. That's how it works. And I'll explain that in much more detail.
All right. Wow. I'm looking at the clock. Time with you always goes so fast, Raja. This has been just a fascinating conversation. I want to thank our viewers for being with us today and for all of your questions. Once again, Advanced Kundalini Shakti Initiation begins Tuesday, July 28th. And again, you can visit awakeningkundaliniadvance.com to learn more and to register. So before we cut you loose, Raja, do you have any final words for our viewers?
Just close your eyes for a second and know that there's a divine energy inside you that is so beautiful. A sacred, feminine, divine energy that connects you to the cosmos, that is the mother, that is the earth, that is the mother, that is the cosmos, that is the mother that's in every single one of us. And we all have this energy in us. And if we can wake it up by any means possible, we can reconnect ourselves back to the earth, to each other, and to the world in a more sacred and profound way. And I want you to think of 3 parts that come into this sound, and we do the sound together now. So I want you to experience that in your tongue and your third eye is the sound of Mahasaraswati. Aim. Aim. A-E-E-M. Aim. Then I open my heart center, Mahalakshmi, and the sound is Clean, K-L-E-E-M, clean. And then in my yoni or linga, at my sexual area, I feel a vibration there with the sound of Mahakali, so. So I want you to travel with me as we go down. That grace is pouring into me from above, from the top of my head. I'm clean soul. And now back up, Kundalini begins to rise up your middle of your spine. Ready? So clean. Let's do it again twice. I'm clean soul. So clean mind. I'm clean soul. So clean mind. And then put your mind at your heart center and feel a tingling at the back of your spine as your heart opens up in every direction and a golden light surrounds you of the mother. You're in the mother's womb in a vast golden energy. Shri, Shri, Shri.
thank you again, Raja. It's always a pleasure spending time with you, and I'm looking forward to the next 6 months together. Thanks for being with us today.
And thank you for coming back and doing this again with me, Lisa. I appreciate it.
It's
Good for
one
you.
of my favorites.
And you
Right.
know, one thing I'll just say at the end is that you're in safe company. There'll be a lot of advanced people around that can help you, and there'll be a lot of good people, and I'm around all the time. And so you can write to me. You can, and we will be doing a Shakti cafe every 3 sessions where we all get together and meet each other and form a community, a kaula together, a kula together. And I want you to come and feel safe and ask questions and explore this amazing energy, just as a divine sacred in you. Forget what yoga to do or what breathing to do. Just sit and enjoy this bliss in you, you know? So come, let's play.
Yeah. All right. Beautiful. Thank you again, Raj. And once again, I want to thank everyone who joined us today. On behalf of all of us at the Shift Network, I wish you well and look forward to having you on this course or perhaps another one in the future. Have a great day, everyone.